Got it.
So I am so fortunate to have an opportunity to invite my upcoming guest for the second time, Alexey Katko, born in Kazakhstan and raised in America, number five of six children. Early in life, Alexey experienced the power of encouragement, which is going to be a theme, so stay tuned. Having traveled the country in his 20s and 30s, he now lives in Hawaii on the Big Island on a mission to share the science of encouragement so others can practice the art of encouragement. In 2013, after two family friends committed suicide, he decided to write 1,000 letters of encouragement because a little encouragement goes a long way. And after almost 9 years, almost a decade, he finally created the first product that people can actually buy from him to support the one. So is there an acronym? KLOE
Oh,
movement.
yeah, that's 1,000 letters of encouragement. Sorry. Whoop.
Of course, of course. So that's gonna be a new acronym now.
Chloe, yeah.
I love that Chloe movement. If you want to encourage someone in your life to go after their dream or goal, he's got you covered. Please download for free his book on his website. And what is your website?
1,000 letters of encouragement.com. It's the number 1,000 letters of encouragement.com.
Perfect. It's a gift or join the movement by buying a packet. Yes, a packet of encouragement for your future self. And I like how you said that, your future self, because sometimes we don't realize the impact. We were just talking story before recording, and we don't realize the impact of even touching one life, even though you might not even have an audience, you might be in your room alone, but the power of letters, right? Can you tell us the power of having a letter, you're in your room, you're feeling hopeless, and how words on a piece of paper can change your life?
Oof. Well, I will say since last March, I've been reading. So in 2013, I wrote these letters and I carried around them with me for 8 years, a little over 8 years. And when I started sharing them on Clubhouse, there were many a days, right up until recently, when it's just like you're feeling bummed. You're like, am I even doing the right thing? Am I going in the right direction? Should I keep doing this? And then these letters, because each letter was just a random thought of encouragement. And very often it was these letters that my past self, it's as if my past self knew to write letters to my future self, which is now, and it's like this time thing going on where like, wow, my past self is encouraging me forward. And many a day that was the thing that kept me going. Like, okay, just keep on keeping on. It's okay, because there's so much unsuccesses, or let's call them failures, when you're going to try something new because it's new. There's
Hmm.
so much to do that encouragement is that fuel, that gasoline that
Yeah,
you put in
yeah.
the car that keeps it going. So
I
it's
love
a
that, the fuel. Well, and how did you manage on those days? We were just talking about how even though, like I kind of stopped Clubhouse, now you're inspiring me to go back on. But what do we tell ourselves when it feels like we're not making a difference or we're just spinning our wheels and you think, is this worth it or am I really meant to do it? And it's just self-doubt really talking, right?
yes, yes. One of the biggest things that I've noticed throughout this journey is we humans, we have this thing about us that we need certain things. Like we need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to go to the bathroom. You don't do those
Hmm.
three things, you're dead pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything else is extra. And then we have the what I call the cloud nine things, which is like these things that are important but aren't, you can't see, you can't touch, you can't taste it, but you feel it.
Mm.
Encouragement, inspiration, motivation, urging each other on. And so these are the things that we really need to keep going. And that is the world of emotions and feelings. And so the days when we're working towards something, and it's like, have you ever played the game of Monopoly or Settlers of Catan, for example?
I did Monopoly. Yeah, I played Monopoly.
Okay, so Monopoly I think is the more popular one that most people play. And what's unique to these board games, Monopoly, is imagine you land on a house and you have to owe half of your net worth to their rent. Imagine that feeling.
Ooh.
that feeling of just loss is like, holy moly, like you get in that moment, you feel that emotion and you're in it. You might even yell at the person. But then the game is over. No longer than an hour later, you're like, what was that all about?
Exactly.
And so in our life, when we're acting on a dream or a goal or something to achieve and it doesn't work, it's like we get hit, our willpower depletes, and then emotionally we're depleted. And then we make these decisions, just like in that moment of Monopoly, you're like, what? Or
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna give up. Like this is like ridiculous. This is senseless. I'm losing. I'm giving up. And the game I play, there's another game, Settlers of Catan. Like in Monopoly, it's hard to make a comeback. But in the game of the Settlers of Catan, you can make a comeback from almost being dead in the game.
So how do you
And
spell
there,
Catan? Settlers of, I'm sorry.
yep, Catan. If I remember correctly, it's a German guy who created this game. Incredible game. And
Oh,
so yesterday I was playing this game. And so this is to answer your question, to coming for the landing to answer your question. Yesterday I'm playing this game and I'm playing it for the purpose of feeling different emotions and going through them actually.
wow.
And so I start the game. The rolls are just because you do have dice. And if you roll number 7, that means somebody can steal your resources. And so I'm just getting stolen from. I cannot get the resources I need. People are cutting me off. And I'm just like, I was like, okay, pause. I paused. I leave. And then half a day later, I'm like, okay, I worked through these things, these emotions that bubbled up. I came back. Now I got this fresh look, fresh perspective. Like
Ugh.
I'm full of energy again. And guess what? I went from being the last to winning the game by 50%, meaning that total points you could get 14. I had 14 points, and the next highest person had 8 points. So like
Wow.
blasted through. That's what encouragement is being able to sit back. So say if I'm encouraging you, so like earlier today, it's me sharing my belief, giving my belief, that hope, the cloud 9 things that I had to develop in myself to keep going forward in this world. Just in a conversation, I said, hey, Karen, not only to urge you forward to get on co-pilots, but I said, here's what I did. Here are the challenges I've experienced. You're going to experience them, embrace them. They're going to be difficult. And if you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. But this is what you can do. Now you are encouraged to move forward. And that's what these letters or letters of encouragement were doing to me. It's a different perspective. It's a perspective from time ago or something different than what I'm in right now, that state of mind. And so when you're reading that letter of encouragement, you are lending that energy to that person from a different perspective. So keep on keeping on is the biggest message that I share in these letters. It's not going to be easy because it's new. That's the only reason it's not easy. The only reason you're failing, it's challenging, it's hard, is because it's new. So keep on keeping
Exactly.
on.
So what about a message to parents? I love, how kids just many of them don't like to write, right? Parents don't like to write as well. I feel the power of getting an actual pen and writing, right? Instead of
Mm-hmm.
typing. It does use a different part of your brain. How have you been reaching parents or students? I mean, how do we get that across? Because I remember reading an article where letters or the art of writing physical letters is a lost art, and cursive is no longer really taught in schools. So I have people, right? They hire me to teach their kids to write their signature because it's not, you do it
Yeah.
a little bit in fourth grade. Now we don't even know with the change in curriculum and COVID, but how do you, is there like a substitute way or what do you do when, you're not into letter writing? Like I'm such a fan of letter writing. I had more than like 50 pen pals. My mom was not very happy with the postage when I was like 10 to 15, because we had to pay for the postage and there were people doing it illegally. Like we were taught to put glue on it. Did you hear about this? And you put
Oh
glue on
yeah.
it and they stamp it. And then, because when you're doing 50 letters, you're like, oh my gosh, from to India to, and I was part of the Bee Gees fan club. That dates me. But that's how I met like all these people globally.
Yeah.
Now it's all about DMing and texting and you're using your fingers and these kids are like, and, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not picking up a pen. They're not, I mean, some people are
Yeah.
journaling, right? Journaling is different.
Yep.
What is your suggestion in how to just we need to recreate that energy of like the magic of writing letters. It truly is
Hmm.
magic because
It is.
you can help support someone. You can help right, just be there. Sometimes they don't even have to respond. Like the letter that you
Yes.
sent me, I think everyone who receives one of your letters is meant to hear that particular message,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. I mean, I've been the receiver. Now I do my show twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Ooh,
Every letter I read, it still hits home. Every single one of them. Because, well, because why? Nobody knows. That's just how the universe works.
yes.
But to answer your question of how do you get people to write letters,
Yes.
from my experience in actually doing lives on Instagram and writing letters with people and sending letters and encouraging people to write letters, the thing I learned about us humans is the reason we don't write letters is not because we don't want to physically write. Get ready for this. Are you ready for why people don't write letters?
You don't know
There
what to
is an
write?
it's no, not that either. I thought that's what it was too. People are afraid. Well, I'll go to the fear next. The first one is not believing that they matter. So it has nothing to do with
Ooh.
writing the letter. People, when they don't believe they matter, and to what degree is different in each person. People don't fully comprehend how much incredible impact their words actually have. Cause and effect oftentimes is so far removed we cannot connect the two. With letters, it's even more challenging to connect cause and effect because most causes, the letters that you send to somebody, most of these letters, receivers, they're not going to get back to you and tell you how they impacted
Yes.
you. That
Yes.
is one of the fears. One of the biggest, greatest fears is, am I making a difference? I'm putting all this life source energy into writing a letter. And I am sending out, putting it in an envelope, letter, stamp, and this whole journey, is it making a difference? So the first thing is, am I making a difference? Do I matter? Do I leave an impact? All of us want to leave an impact in this world. And so when you're talking to somebody to encourage to write a letter,
Mm-mm.
you're talking to that, it has nothing to do with writing. It's the fear of also, what do I say? Is what I'm going to say
Mm.
important to read? And it's sharing with people. Every live video that I've done, I think I've done maybe 6 or 10 live videos on Instagram. You can actually see them, and people all responded with the same, like, I'm so scared. I don't know what to write. It's like, it's okay. Well, here's how we do it. And I always talk to the that other part of ourself is, you do matter. In essence, what I was saying in these conversations, you do matter. You do make a difference. Your words will have an impact because I give them an experience. Like, let me read you a
Mm-hmm.
letter. Experience this. Usually, I did it not live, but off camera beforehand, and they're like, "Wow, that resonated very well for me." I did a room and I had 30 people in there choose. This is before recording. They
Mm-hmm.
recorded them 30 people in a row because I was writing this down how many people were requesting letters. And every one of them was
Wow.
like, holy moly, that just hit home. And then somebody was like, hey, Alexey, I want one letter to you. And I'm like, okay, pick a number. So they picked a number. And that day I was having a question about that very thing. And that letter spoke right to me. How this happens, who knows? So all this is to say, you do matter. Your words will make an impact. They will have a huge ripple effect. And if that's not enough, I will share with people how people who did get back to me, something as simple of a story that like you shared, it's challenge yourself to just get out of the box. It's nerve wracking.
Yes.
It's exciting too. The next level of simple is when I sat down with a gentleman, I was walking by, just gave him a letter, and he's just like, he was having a hard day. And he told me he's like having a hard day, and his friend is having an even harder day. I'm like, well, I sat down to give you a letter of encouragement. The way his face, his just whole energy lit up. And he's like, I'm like, I have a second letter. He's like, my friend will love it. I never even met his friend or his friend because I left before the friend came back. And so he gave it to his friend. Something as simple as that, where people's days just shift. Like, you matter, you make a difference. To people making friends, people being in, creating new friends where they get invited to their weddings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One lady has 6 degrees. She's just like really brilliant lady. She always wanted to go for that seventh degree, but never had the courage to do it. She did all those six before she
Oh
did
my
that seventh. And when she
gosh.
got that one letter, she got the courage. She got up, literally read the letter, got up. This was in England. London, in England. She went to the college, said, "This is what I want." They're like, "We've been looking for somebody like you." But the story doesn't end there. They're like, they gave her all the finance, the necessary
Oh
finances to go through
my
5 years
gosh.
of college, a place to live, and everything. They're like, "We've been looking into," and then they're like, "Today's the last day that you could have come here." Because some guy wrote a letter in Savannah, Georgia, 8 years ago, sent it to somebody, dared to share it, and sent it 8 years later to somebody on a different continent, and their life is poof, different. They just needed that one last thing. Because when she read that letter, she was sharing with me. She's like, "Yeah, why not?
Why
Like, why
not?
the heck not?" So all this kind of stuff, when I share this, now you know why you will write a letter. And that's encouragement, saying, "Here's what you're going through." And when we share these stories with, like, if you don't have those stories, now you can share my stories with somebody else.
Yes.
And now they're much more, they're inspired. Not only they're inspired, but they're now motivated, and they are encouraged, and encourages actual practical things given to them of what they can do and why they should do it.
So does it have to be in your eyes a written letter, or what's the difference if someone emails someone, texts someone? What do you think the difference is?
I have never been able to find another technology like this and this to
Yes.
be able to captivate or capture the heart's energy, and it happens to be just in a written format. Next time somebody reads this letter, you read one of the letters,
Yes.
you the energy comes out of it. Not just the words of what's said, but the energy. Somehow, how
The
that works in this
energy.
universal life, I don't know, but it happens. Um,
I love that.
I wrote a letter once to my parents when I lived in Savannah, Georgia. My mom called back and she's like bawling her eyes out. I'm like, "You okay, mom?" She's like, "The letter, thank you." I had a
Oh.
cousin, 40-year-old guy. Nobody ever told him in his life that he made a difference in their life. This guy started bawling his eyes too. And just the stories continue. There's nothing like a letter that can. Video is one thing, text is another thing, but letter, there's just something about it in us humans since 500 BC, when the first letter was written, to this day, that there's something unique, because now it's somebody's life source, somebody's time, the only thing you can ever get more of. They spent writing it to you. Sure, we spend hundreds of hours on Instagram and Facebook, but somebody just spent it on me, for me, and spent this energy, and now their energy is here to keep me going.
It's also fun getting it in the mail, right? And that's the whole thing because people get bills in the mail, junk mail, and things that they don't really, care to. And then all of a sudden, your letter, I will never forget like seeing that the bright orange paper and just reading it and then rereading it. I use it as a bookmarker for so many times and then I would like lose it and oh my gosh, I have to make sure I put in a special drawer. But you're right, it is the energy of the handwritten word. And I think that's why
Yes.
during COVID, a lot of well, not even before that too, everyone started typing their assignments. Well, now the kids are having to handwrite, which they think is just the most awful thing in the world. But something happens to your brain, right, when you're actually writing with a pen versus typing and composing.
That's in English. I love the word. You know what they call writing a word,
But
or how to write a word? It's called spelling, spell casting.
oh, you know what? That's why I realize kids, when I tutor them, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. Parents are like, really? I remember researching the brain is my passion. Some people just have that part of their brain and some people don't. So you can have the most intelligent people and their strength may not be spelling. So guess what? They resist writing and you can't do spell check if you're writing with your
Oof.
pen,
Yeah,
but don't let that stop you from sharing and encouraging because if someone is reading your
yeah.
letter or a letter that someone wrote and there's and we've all read I read books that are from published authors and you see a misspelled word. I love seeing that because it's like, okay, they are
They're
human,
human.
they're
Yeah.
human, but you get the message. The bottom line
Yes.
is you feel the love, you feel the encouragement, and spelling shouldn't matter. But I've been told someone said that they resisted commenting because they thought like I would like mentally edit their comment on social media. And I thought, what?
Stories retell.
Isn't it's the story? And then I felt I don't know why like embarrassed, like, no, I wouldn't do that. And then I didn't realize I do that. Like if I know someone's a writer and I'm like, you're emailing and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this doesn't sound right. And I'm like, this is what other people must think. You constantly have that judgment, like you said, am I worthy? Am I going to write it eloquently? Am I going
Oh
to
yeah.
fill in the blank?
Yeah, that's I just finished recently typing up all my letters. Each letter has at least like a half a dozen mistakes, at least every letter. Some of them I even include. I just started including the mistakes. Some of them I edited because it was just too confusing. So I'd like edit just one concept or word to make sense. But other than that, it's oh man, I would encourage people, if you're a perfect writer, include a few errors. Like just do it just to feel human, that it's okay to embrace that part of us.
Yeah, my cousin wrote a book, and in the preface it said if you found any spelling errors, they may have been on purpose or not, but he's just like, you put it out there, like, you know what? Otherwise, people go,
Yeah.
you just misspelled. Wow. So you, how can I ask you how long it took to type 1,000 letters? I mean, I know you didn't do it all at once, but how was that
No, it
journey? Describe.
took me all of last year. Oh, it was just as intense as writing the letters. So in my book, the ebook that people can download for free, in the end, I included my journal of how it felt to write the letters initially. It was
Ooh.
you could see the story developing. It was like, I'm excited, this is awesome, and then like a quarter of the way in, you're like, crap, what did I commit to? Like this is crazy, this is insanity. And then you get to the halfway mark, you're like, woohoo! And then you get the further you go, the closer you get to the goal, the less like excited you get because I still have so much to do. Same thing with typing my letters. It was just like, well, I'll tell you, one of the big thoughts behind my mind, I'm like, why am I even doing this? Like, why? It makes no practical sense, but it does make sense down in the heart. Like, you got to do this. People are like, hey, consider typing this up. Consider typing this up. And it's like, it took me an average of 6 minutes per letter. So 6,000 minutes about. Have it. I have the exact numbers because I actually kept record of it. Because I like numbers
Wow.
and finding out. But the average was about 6 minutes per letter, and it was there was no this. It was all just like if this is the line of zero, the whole time I'm just like this is like the thought of Alexey, this is a sunk cost. But I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing it to make something of it. It's making something of me right now. That's the one big thing that was pushing me forward is a few people asked to do this, and I will do it for them, even if it takes me 6,000 minutes. I'm not sure off the top of my mind how many hours that is, but I'm like, I will do it until it's done, so that people who would that one person, and that one person was there all along for the journey. And so it was challenging. It was definitely challenging. Uh, I had to go to a coffee shop and sit there because if I was doing it at home, I'd give up really quick. But if I paid money to get a coffee or a tea, I'm
And
like,
you're sitting
I gotta,
there. Yeah.
I gotta make like at least some value of this. And so I finally got it done after a year of going after it.
Self-discipline. Well, and then I'm thinking, I just did 100, right? 100 parenting tips and I published it, but that would be like 1,000 because they're short. And what I remember thinking is it worth, this is all over, right? And people say that, why should I write something that's already out there? And then I don't know about you, but I would write, wait, wasn't this parenting tip number 47? Now it's 85 or what? And then you have to just say, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can come up with another title, but with you, at least you can touch on similar, like the
Oh yeah.
encouragement, right? But then for parenting tips, I kept thinking someone's going to say, wait a minute, didn't she just rewrite this multiple times? And then I thought, you know what? Stop, right? Otherwise, I would throw in the towel and say, well, geez, I'm on 47. I've done every single tip. Well, I'm on 98. What am I going to, and then
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
but a
Yeah.
thousand, Alexi, 1,000. Did you purposefully come up with that number? I mean, when you were starting to write and then you're like 500, 700, 800, was it a goal of yours when you started it?
Yes. So after the initial experience of getting those two phone calls, the following over 2 days, I spent about 24 hours of those sitting and contemplating, what am I going to do with this energy that was right there before me. And I did, because I used to write letters to family and friends, just thanking them how they impacted me. Every year I would send out a few letters like that. So that world was kind of familiar to me. And just recently, like a week or two before that, I sent a few letters out. And so I noticed that people are the two family friends who took their own lives. I realized encouragement is a big thing. And so I'm like, well, let me write 10 letters of random encouragement to people and just hand them out. And then a bunch of hours later, I'm like, wait, I could do that in a week. And then I kept on challenging myself, or what would feel impossible for me? And I was like 100, and I'm like, I could do that in a month. And I'm like, what is something crazy? I'm like, I've never done something so crazy as to like commit to, like, I didn't even know I was going to achieve it until I did decide 1,000 letters right from the get-go. I'm like, I'm going to write 1,000 letters, then I'm going to either mail them out or hand them out to people. And I gave myself a year to do it.
Did you ever think, oh, this letter is similar to another one, or it didn't matter?
No, absolutely. Because I never started this journey because I wanted to create, like, the only reason I scanned these letters is because at the end, one of my friends who I randomly met at a coffee shop, who was a writer from India, he's like, you should consider scanning these. And then I met another guy, a movie guy in the same coffee shop. He's like, consider scanning this. So everything I've ever done was just because others have suggested it. So there's just, every
Wow.
letter is its own thing. It was never meant to be a whole one thing. They're standalone things. I do remember, like, at one point I started writing these letters. I'm like, oh, the next 100 letters, I'm going to share different parts of my life, or I'm going to
Yeah,
share these
yeah.
concepts. And
Oh,
so,
that's interesting.
so when you read the letter, all 1,000 letters, you'll actually, it's, it's a form, it's almost like a biography, a documentary about my life experiences. And there's a lot. So you'll definitely know a lot about me by the time you're done with it.
Well, and I think just by every single conversation I have with you, I thought, you know what, I have to arrange more of these. It doesn't have to be recorded. It doesn't have to, because even when we text, or you always send such encouraging, like the Instagram messages, and it could just be a couple of words. And I think that's what people crave. You know, when you I know when my mom passed, someone just looked, just checking in, how are you? And they don't expect a response. Lately I had checked in with a friend and she didn't respond, but I thought, you know what? Some people have unlimited, right? So many texts, but when she gets to, it's pretty, you know what it is? It's for us actually, isn't it? It's for us. You just reminded me, like, if I go to Clubhouse, no one's on it. It really is. When you said for that one person, I kept thinking, yeah, there's one person out there needing it. But no. So we should actually do the letter writing of encouragement for us. And then it's a
Yes.
double gift, because when you share that gift that you needed, because whatever words you
Yep.
write are meant for you anyway, right? And then when
Yes.
you share it, you have to trust that those words were meant for the person that I love how you do random though. I was having a hard
Yeah.
time finding someone random in, like, I don't know what state you gave me, and I thought, and I become this student in the classroom where, like, I have to find someone, and it's hard to find addresses, right? Because the people just don't have their addresses
You know,
random.
the easiest way to find an address?
What?
Go to Google, find a business, and just send it to the
Oh,
business.
oh my.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure that one out.
And I was
Just
doing so many, and the only thing that popped up was because I put moms and then moms in prison. So I'm like, why not? And I was so sad, Alexei, when the letter came back like months later and it says no longer here or not. And I thought, you know what? It's okay. So I don't know what I did with
yeah,
the letter. I still might have it, but what a simple remedy to
teamwork
that.
makes the dream work. Yeah, in relation to, I just wanted to share the kind of second what you said about the. Hold on a second, just I had it. I can't believe it. The thought just slipped. But a few minutes, like a few seconds ago, where you were talking about oh yeah, showing up. When I
Yes.
started my clubhouse room, first time I did three, and so I was always going to this one clubhouse room here, and there was a gentleman there from California. And I mentioned in this room that I'm going to they encouraged me to start my own room. So I started it, and I did it for the first 3 days. And then on the fourth, I didn't do it. On the fifth day, I didn't do it. And then this guy reaches, like, starts a room with me, a private room to talk. He's like, "Hey, Alexey, are you still doing those rooms?" And I was
I
just
think
like,
I remember the
"So
story, and I met Lady G. Remember Lady G?
yes,
And
yes,
I interviewed her, and she is amazing because she, at first I thought I could only interview parents, and I thought, no, I can't. I don't need to because everyone has a gift that they can share a future child, the future, right, to help parents. And then she
yes,
shared that she was a dance instructor, I mean, globally known, and then how she worked with age 3 to, right?
yep,
And
yep,
then I thought, all because I decided to pop into your clubhouse. So
yes." And
it's
that
amazing.
would have never happened unless that gentleman said, "Alexey," and that's where that thought came from. He's like, "Let me tell you, Alexey, the most important person that needs to be there is you. You need to hear this stuff." And I was just like, that's what kept me going ever since.
Wow.
So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. I'm talking about this, but
You wouldn't have
that's
had
why
your book?
encouragement. I would not have my book. I wouldn't have it typed. I wouldn't have this first product. I wouldn't stick around the clubhouse and continue connecting with people. That's why I want to share with people the science of encouragement so that they can practice the art of encouragement.
You know what? I have an
Because it,
idea that just popped in. I'm resistant to audiobooks because I love to read, but that's the latest thing. And for you, if it only takes 6 minutes to write, it probably wouldn't take that much to record. And but you could do it here and there. But I bet it would not take that long to read 1,000 letters because I started it and then you just do so much self-criticism. And then other people say, why don't you like pay someone to read your book and do it in audio form? I'm like, no. And if Obama can read his what 900 word book or something, he did it. It's like, we need
yeah,
to be inspired to but that's a big thing now.
yeah,
Audiobooks, because if especially if people don't want to write and they can just play it on a podcast or play it right as they're
yes.
driving and be inspired by your words that they hear rather than read. Because you and I think you're a reader. Well, are you a reader from, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think if you sometimes you're a writer, but you don't like to read. And I have some people go, "Ugh, sorry, I'm just not into reading." Like you have those people, I'm not going to write a letter. But I bet they would. No, I'm not criticizing those people because, like, I would not play
It is what
sports.
it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, my friends asked my husband, so is Karen ever gonna golf with you? And with a straight face, oh no, Karen doesn't do any sports. And they laugh because it's true. I'm another teacher. I said, I do not teach PE. I do not play sports. But
Yeah.
people listen. People love to just, they're washing dishes, they listen. So can you imagine is the power of the word by Alexi audio?
Yes. So it's interesting I mentioned that because that is the very next stage that I'm going
Oh my
into, and
gosh.
because the first stage was get the initial ebook, the scanned version. Then version two is type up all the
Printed.
letters, which took, yeah. And now stage three, phase three is do the recording, and it's like the same process over again. Like it initially, I thought it was like, Alexi, that's going to be a heck of a sunk cost. That's the initial thoughts. It's like it doesn't matter because doing Clubhouse all this time, the ability to me reading the letters to make it sound better and better, even like to, you never think that talking is a thing, but if you talk for more than 5 minutes straight, you start noticing you feel muscles in your throat here that you never felt before. It's like it's a muscle to develop, it's a skill to develop. And so doing the Clubhouse all this time, it's practicing the intonation and all this stuff. And
Oh
it's like
yeah,
after
major
almost a
prep work.
year,
Yeah,
yeah, and
major
it's like
practice.
somebody popped in last week and they're like, holy moly, like your letters are awesome, but the way you read them,
I'm
that just
telling
blew me away. And
you.
I'm like, huh?
I'm
Yeah,
telling
so
you,
it's like,
you should be a radio DJ, remember? Or you can be an announcer. You can announce like the World Series. You can announce the Oscar winner, right? Because some of them
oh
and
yes.
the winner is you'd be like, and the winner is.
Yeah, we are all winners, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourself a high five. Give yourself a hug. You are awesome. You are classy.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Uh,
We need to have you. When we if you're interested, it would probably only take maybe 1 minute, but you know how I'm gonna plug my Deslin and Karen Gibson the workshop that we're doing every fourth Saturday, right?
Mhm.
Meditation, affirmation, and movement. But you would, and once you start doing this, people are gonna be like, "Hey, Alexi, can you be, the intro? Can you do our intro for this event, for
Sure,
that event?" It's
that
that
would be perfect.
energy. It's that energy that you have, and it's effortless. And I think you don't realize that you are teaching not only the power of the written word, but how you deliver it. And I think that's why you're a success on Clubhouse, because when you think about it, it's not really a visual thing, but you have to really capture someone's interest because they'll just, right? It's kind of like changing stations. And you've been doing this for, wow, it's going to come up on a year then, right? You're going to have your
Yeah, in
1 year
March.
anniversary.
Yesterday, actually, Clubhouse told me that I've been on Clubhouse for a year, but I started the letters of encouragement officially in March, beginning of March.
So can I ask what did you do in February when you first entered Clubhouse?
I was nervous because every day I was going in these rooms and the thought was getting loud. It took me a whole month of that thought every day. Do it, do it. Like, it's time, Alexei. I've been waiting for 8 years to get onto sharing these legends. Like, you thought you were going to mail them and send them out, but no, you first got to read them and share them with the world. It's like, so for all of February, I would lose sleep at night. It would be harder and harder to fall asleep until finally, through this fear and just this incredible, whatever that fear was, of just everybody experiences when they first start their first room. It was like I almost puked and pooped my pants at the same time. It's like,
I
it was
remember doing that
intense.
first one and no one was there, and people were like, I think Destin's like, I'll be there. You have your friends. I'll be there. I'll be that one person. So did you just start reading that first
Just
day in February?
in March, it
You
was
just start.
March. I
No,
just
no, but in
started.
February you said you started Clubhouse in February. You mean just
No,
like
I was going into
joining?
just rooms and listening.
Okay, so you were like putting your toes in there and finding out like what this is all about. And then
Yes,
you
networking.
Mart
Yes, February was getting used to it, and the thought just like, this is your thing.
journey.
This is
Yeah,
your thing. Yes,
yeah,
this is where
yeah.
you begin. And well, thankfully, through that fear, I clicked that start button. I mean, to this day, on Clubhouse, every room I start, I still get the butterflies. It's the live videos like this that I don't get butterflies. I'm just like, I'm looking forward to it. It's like looking forward to a dinner, or breakfast, lunch, or dinner, to eat something. Like, you're like looking forward to it. But when I do
When it's
Clubhouse,
live, yeah,
like, I love these. When I'm doing Clubhouse, though,
it's
I
different,
still
isn't
get the
it?
butterflies, and I've done hundreds of rooms, like posted hundreds of rooms. So just like, it's interesting. Like
I love that
Instagram lives, I'll
message.
do all day.
I love that message though. It's kind of like, so what is your final closing message to someone who says, I don't think I can do that because I don't even know what I'm good at.
What I'm good at. Oh, as a bunch of my letters were sharing with people, you'll never know what you're good at unless you just try different things. Like, you're gonna be horrible at 99.9% of the things. The more you try, the more you know what those 99.9 are, to find out what your 0.01 thing is. And embrace the fear. Like, you cannot let go of the fear. You cannot put it aside. The fear will be there. Just change the words from fear and anxiety and pain to excitement, and embrace it. Just try new things and just keep on keeping on.
Well, you're inspiring me. I have TikTok. I'm sorry. I have to do my TikTok parenting tip, but on my list for today it is Clubhouse. Um, just to at least go back in there and like you said, maybe like visit some rooms. I have 5 students today, but I'm gonna put it, I think like you said, just spend a few minutes just dabbling and not what is it? Facing your fear, really embrace it. I say
Yeah.
embrace it, but you know how it is, right? You're like, I'm gonna embrace it. I have to do this first. I'm gonna embrace
Yep.
it, but maybe tomorrow, right? Maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow, maybe tomorrow.
Yep. It's just like me recording these things. It's like, I've been saying maybe tomorrow for the last 2 weeks. And like,
Yeah.
you're the ninth person to say, please consider this. Like, listen to life.
You see,
That's like,
yeah,
listen
yeah.
to
You know
life.
what? I just thought of that like right now. I'm like, because I was just gonna order an audiobook. I'm like, I don't even like audio, and I thought, wait, I need to flip switch it because I like listening to music. I like listening to podcasts. What's the difference in audio book? The word book makes me think I need to read it for some reason. Or I notice that if when I hear a book, my mind, oh, I have to do this, and I became this ADHD like student. But when it's a
Yep.
podcast. Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't happen there. But with you, you know what? They're short letters. It's not like you're reading War and Peace or you're not explaining some, historic
Long
movement or, yeah, it's
concepts.
not a long
Yeah,
concept. Then people are like, what? And it's, wow. Thank you so much. I know we went way over my allotted time, but this is, you've given me a gift, and I think the gift of inspiration, and whoever's watching this hopefully will also get that inspiration because they don't even need to even write a letter. It'd be nice to write a letter, but to be inspired maybe to find out, like, just embrace their fear, right?
embracing your fear. Yes, embrace it. Don't run from it. It's going to be there. It's like a great quote. The further you run away from it, the further you are away from the solution. So go for it. Like
Ooh.
for me, it's the recording these things. It's still like I've done it, but it's like that fear of you matter, you make a difference, and always remember that you matter and you do make a difference. And if you forget that, ask people, do I make a difference in your life, just to remind yourself that you do. And that will be the fuel that keeps you going.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, how many people do that? I think they're scared of the answer. They're scared that people will be like, well, you know what it is if you
We're
ask a
scared.
child. Yeah, if you, yeah.
We're scared of, like, when people judge us, it has nothing to do with how we are, it's who they are.
Yeah.
And so we are our own worst critic. So you best try ask 3 times your friends and say, okay, what's one, like, just like, you gotta pump yourself up, man. Just let yourself know that you do matter, that you do make a difference. So it's like Clubhouse has been huge for me on that, like that people are sharing and saying that it does make a difference. It's like, okay, and we need this much of that, like this much of encouragement and inspiration and motivation, and we only need one little word of silliness from somebody, and it just like,
Oh, I know, I know. Wow, that is inspiring just that alone, just to really remind ourselves of our worth no matter what, right? That we
yes,
matter no matter what. Oh, you just helped me formulate TikTok tip
there we
number
go.
going
Teamwork
forward.
makes the dream work.
Thank you, because I'm like, I don't know why I decided to do that. It's like I am going, and right before we left to go to the movies, I'm going to be doing 30 consecutive TikTok parenting tips, and then I ended. I'm like, why did I do that? Why didn't I say 10? But then you get into it's like at least I didn't say 1,000. But you are inspiring me. Who knows? Maybe one day. I mean, you just do it slowly, slowly, slowly.
Yeah, one letter at a time, one action at a time, it gets done. uh, Embrace that dip, and eventually the wave. Embrace the wave. There we go. Learn to surf it.
One more time, where can they buy your? I'm going to go and buy it right now after this. Your website again is?
Okay, so my website is the number 1,000 letters of encouragement. There's a gift and a product you can purchase. The gift is the ebook of all the scanned letters, 1,000 letters of encouragement. You just put your name and email. I'm just letting you know it's a big file because it's scanned. It's 300 like something megabytes. You'll get it in your email. The product I'm just launching is called Encouraging Packet. So you can either, I
Ooh.
highly suggest for everyone, buy one for yourself so you can receive it and experience it. Inside are copies of 2 letters of encouragement and a packet of coffee from Hawaii, a specialty hand-picked coffee from Hawaii, from Ka'u.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so as it's a pour over coffee you get to make for yourself. As you drink it, you get to read these 2 letters. Why 2? Because one is for you to keep, and the second one
To
is for you
give.
to give. Yes.
What an amazing product. And it's not something
Yes.
that will melt, when you think of certain products to mail. It's not and it's lightweight. You don't have to, send a
Yep.
five
It
pound
comes
thing.
all in a letter in an envelope, so I can send it anywhere in the world. Right now, I only have coffee. I just had some people from England, of all places, like, "Do you have any tea?" And I'm like, "I'm working on a tea version, cacao tea, which is special, like really great, unique tea from this island." And so I don't want to just send anything. I want to send things from this island. So I suggest buy one for yourself, experience it, and then think of that 1 or 2 people that you want to encourage, but just not sure how to. This is that
Wow, what a
perfect
perfect
tool for
birthday
that.
gift, anniversary
Yes.
gift, Christmas gift.
And
I
they're
mean,
all sent anonymously because it's about the receiver and not the sender. But I would suggest send it to somebody who you are around. I had this happen.
yeah.
Somebody sent it anonymously to a friend, and they're like, now I have a friend in Hawaii. They're like,
Yeah.
holy moly. But now they even get to have a coffee, and it's like it's a whole different experience. It's a whole new level up.
Oh my gosh, I just pictured letters. This is a bonus. Well, I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, and you know what people are going to be
Yeah.
doing is multiple letters because what a perfect gift.
Yes. Yes. So it's on my website. You go on there in the front. You could either do a um, send a letter or donate a letter. And so donate, like I'm going to start doing speaking engagements, and I'll be giving these letters like I really want to work with students in colleges and high
Yeah,
schools.
yeah.
And so at the end, I would like to be giving them to students so they send it right there to somebody. So you
Oh,
can either
wow. So
donate
you can
once.
donate and we'll just pay for that one and then you'll randomly
Yep.
send it.
Yes.
Brilliant
And
idea.
so you could do that a single time purchase or a monthly thing, or you could just send a letter to yourself or to a family friend. So there's like a few options you can choose how you want to, but I highly suggest for people to experience the
Sample
journey,
it first.
sample it, and then send it off to those who really, really can use some encouragement.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a creative way to offer your gift to people. Like you said, every one of us
Yes.
has a gift, and for it was worth it. It was worth the wait. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see what else you create in the future, and I will be going on that website right now. Thanks, Alexi. Take
Awesome.
care.
Take
Okay,
care. Thank you.
okay,
Bye.
bye.